Welcome to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, January 27th, 2021, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well. Today was a lot going on. Been a very busy news day. Once again, we're going to get into some of these stories here. All right. So if you've been following me on my Facebook fan page, The African History Network, you've seen some of the articles that, some of the stories we posted about today. We see that the Department of Homeland Security has issued a federal alert for the first time in a year, and this is to warn of domestic terrorist threats. And we can basically say white domestic terrorists, because that's basically who we're talking about. Using a federal system designed to warn all Americans about terrorist threats to the U.S. homeland, the Department of Homeland Security has issued a warning that anger, quote, fueled by false narratives, end quote, anger fueled by false narratives, especially unfounded claims about the 2020 presidential election, could lead some inside the country to launch attacks in the coming weeks. We're going to talk some about this because if you have been watching the news, you know that Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York received death threats, and a family member of his received death threats as well. He was on All In with Chris Hayes on Tuesday, January 26th, talking about this. And he said, this is something that unfolded on January the 6th, directed at a family member of mine. This individual apparently had secured a phone number, secured an address, made it appear as though they were prepared to proceed violently. And Representative Hakeem Jeffries said this, discussing the man charged with threatening his family. This is all connected. This is all tied together. So we'll discuss that some today. There was an article from NBC News that we shared dealing with this domestic terrorist threat, and NBC News has an article, DHS issues terrorism advisory over domestic extremists emboldened by Capitol riot. Okay, so it continues. And we know this was fueled and stoked by Donald Trump. And then you have some idiots in the House of Representatives, Republicans, some of them, and some Republicans in the U.S. Senate that are playing footsie with domestic terrorists. Also, more information came out about the cause of death of Hank Aaron. We know today was Hank Aaron's funeral. Hammering Hank Aaron, home run king. Many people still consider him the real home run king because he didn't take steroids. We talked about Hank Aaron's cause of death a couple of days ago. People magazine, people.com had an article about it. More information's come out. It was due to natural causes. It wasn't due to the vaccine. The conspiracy theorists going to have to find another conspiracy to promote and pimp our people with, because they're looking for one. Some of these same people that try to put information out and say Hank Aaron died because of the vaccine that he took. These are some of the same people early 2020 said black people couldn't get coronavirus. When they couldn't pimp people with that lie, they had to go to another lie. So, so now they got to figure out something else. So we'll talk about that. BlackAmericaWeb.com has an article that just came out dealing with more information than what Hank Aaron's cause of death based upon an autopsy. Not based upon speculation or just what you want something to be, so you can push more conspiracy theories. Then, we talked about 4 more Joe Biden's executive orders on yesterday's show. NAACP President and CEO Derek Johnson responded to this. He spoke with Andrea Mitchell on MSNBC. He talked about Biden's executive orders on racial equity and said it's a great initial start. They want more. We talked about an article from the Washington Post yesterday. We talked about that said all the civil rights leaders and activists were saying that's a good start, but they want more. There have been 40 executive orders in 8 days, including the ones today dealing with climate change. There have been 40 executive orders in 8 days. Okay. There was an article from news1.com that tied into the executive orders on Tuesday, dealing with racial equity, and then also dealing with redlining and housing. Okay. News1.com has an article, New Race Czar Susan Rice ensures, quote, an equitable and inclusive economic recovery, end quote. This ties into the press conference that Susan Rice did yesterday. We shared an excerpt of that press conference on our Tuesday, January 26th show. Okay, so check that out. Susan Rice's role of quote unquote race czar, that's not her official name, but that's ostensibly her title. Not her official title, but ostensibly her title. Susan Rice's role of race czar comes after the NAACP demanded the Biden-Harris administration create a new position addressing racial justice, equity, and advancement. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about that. DC statehood is back in the news as well. We know that Democrats introduced a bill today to make DC the 51st state, to make Washington, D.C. the 51st state. Okay. Democrats introduced a bill today to make Washington, D.C. the country's 51st state, but it faces an uphill climb in the U.S. Senate. Now, there was a post from Ari Berman. Ari Berman used to write for The Nation, thenation.com. And it was picked up by Richard Reich, former Secretary of Labor. And I shared that tweet, I shared that post on our Facebook fan page. It says Wyoming has 578,000 people, is 92% white, and has 2 senators. And for those watching on our social media platforms, how's everybody doing? Share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in. We're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. Let's go to our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. We'll show you this post here. Okay, so it says Wyoming has 578,000 people, is 92% white, and has 2 senators. DC has 705,000 people, is 46% black, and has 0 senators. Dems introduced bill today to make DC 51st state. Now look at this. Look at this dynamic. See, this deals with understanding power, because this deals with understanding power and being able to get bills passed in the U.S. Senate, as well as the House of Representatives, having representation. Okay. Wyoming has 578,000 people, is 92% white, and has 2 senators. DC has 705,000 people, almost 200,000 more people, is 46% black, and has 0 senators. So more and more people are saying it's time for Washington, D.C. to have statehood. I agree with that. A lot of people are saying Puerto Rico should have statehood as well. Okay, I agree with that also. All right, so we'll discuss that. And then on yesterday's show, we have some birthday shout outs. Ronaldo Ray. Today's Ronaldo Ray's birthday. Remember Ronaldo Ray, comedian, he was on 227. Also, John Witherspoon, John Witherspoon, Pops, bang, bang, bang. You know, John Witherspoon's from Detroit. Today's his birthday also. But on yesterday's show, I talked about Zara Cully. Zara Cully was Mother Jefferson on the Jeffersons. Zara Cully's birthday was January 26th. We talked about her a little bit at the beginning of the show yesterday, but I didn't have time to go to really discuss it like I wanted to. Zara Cully was born in 1892. She died in 1978. Okay, remember Mother Jefferson from the Jeffersons, George Jefferson's mother. She was born in 1892. She was born 3 years before Frederick Douglass died. Frederick Douglass, the Frederick Douglass that Donald Trump talked about, who said he's hearing more about Frederick Douglass every day. I bet you're hearing more about Harriet Tubman every day now, player. Now that you're not in the White House and can't block Harriet Tubman from being on a $20 bill, because people voted for that. That was a survey from women on 20s. I talked about that back in 2016, early 2016, April 2016. The tallies came in from the surveys, from the votes. And I first talked about that in late 2015, if I remember correctly, when they were talking about changing who was on the currency to coincide with the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. All right. So we'll talk about Zara Cully as well. All right. Look, we're coming up here on the break. Listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation Future Radio. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Visit 4glossygirls.com. That's the number 4glossygirls.com, and follow them on Instagram at 4glossygirls. For 5 years, the Black History 101 Mobile Museum has carried on the rich legacy of the Black Museum movement in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making it the most traversed Black History mobile exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalid El Hakim is the founder of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought-after public speaker on topics of Black history, social studies, education, museum studies, hip-hop, and race relations. Dr. Khalid was named among the change makers for NBC Universal's Erase the Hate campaign and listed as one of the 100 men of distinction for Black enterprise. He recently founded the Michigan Hip Hop Archive on the campus of Western Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Dr. Khalid Al Hakim directly at 313-645-4197, 313-645-4197, or visit their website at blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. That's blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. You can also email him at bhistory101@yahoo.com, bhistory101@yahoo.com.
Are you getting ready for fall or winter? We have the solution for all seasonal clothing needs. Comedicwear.com is the go-to online source for Comedic African fashion and lifestyle products with a contemporary twist. We're committed to offering unique styles reflecting our African heritage. Comedicwear.com is inspired by ComedicScribes.com to influence our people in learning and showing pride. Please visit our website at Comedicwear.com.
Black Bees products are a collection of natural, organic, personal care products with an appreciation of nature and bees. Our philosophy is without bees, we have nothing. We are honoring our Nile Valley ancestors who understood the importance of bees. Black Bees created a high-quality, natural, organic personal care line that would be affordable to everyone. We hope you try and enjoy our Black Bees products line and come back and visit us at blackbeesproducts.com.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, WFDF, the Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, January 27th, 2021, and we are live. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. All right, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show. Then also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Click on the yellow donate button so you know when we go live. So that definitely helps out, being that we're here 6 days a week instead of just 1 day a week. Instead of just Sundays, we're here 6 days a week. All right, now on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now it's correct wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the circumference of their actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events and history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word KEMET, KEMET, the 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word KEMET, KEMET, the 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Also, at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, I want to go to, let's see here. I'm looking at these executive orders. I'm trying to find one. It was, I think this was the one. It was dealing with housing. I have to find it again. They've changed the homepage at whitehouse.gov. So I'll find it. All right. Let's see who we have here. Okay, we got Becky and Fernanda and David and Teresa. Just a few people watching this. Keldrick and Sharon, Greg Osborne, DeMarco. All right. So I want to get into this first topic here, dealing with this domestic terrorist threat. Okay, talk about sore losers. I mean, you would think you were enslaved for 246 years the way y'all carrying on. I mean, talk about sore losers. I'm going to go to this clip here from the readout, Shakita. We'll go to clip number 2. DHS issues terrorism advisory over domestic extremists emboldened by Capitol riot. So the department, NBC News reported today, and also ABC and other outlets. I posted an article also from the Washington Post. This deals with threats of domestic terrorism. Homeland Security issues national terrorism alert for domestic extremists. The Department of Homeland Security issued a bulletin today warning of a heightened threat environment, across the U.S. due to domestic violent extremists, many of whom are enraged by the results of the 2020 election. I mean, what? They should just come out and say white domestic terrorists, because that's largely what you're talking about. You know, they should just come right out and say it. DHS believes this threat, quote, will persist in the weeks following the successful presidential inauguration, end quote. The Department of Homeland Security believes this threat will persist in the weeks following the successful presidential inauguration. Now, the Department of Homeland Security says that throughout 2020, domestic extremists, quote, targeted individuals with opposing views engaged in First Amendment protected nonviolent protest activity. The Department of Homeland Security says that throughout 2020, the year 2020, domestic extremists, quote, targeted individuals with opposing views engaged in First Amendment protected nonviolent protest activity. Why are you attacking people that think differently than you? They're engaging in First Amendment protected nonviolent protest activity. Why are you attacking them? Those extremists are motivated by quote unquote anger over the 2020 election results, COVID-19 restrictions, and quote police use of force, end quote, the Department of Homeland Security said. The agency said it is concerned that some domestic extremists, quote unquote, may be emboldened by the deadly January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol to target elected officials and government facilities. All right. Now, they talked, Joanne Reed talked about this a little bit today on the readout on MSNBC. All right. And I want to go to this clip here. DHS issues terrorism advisory over domestic extremists emboldened by Capitol riot. Let's go to this clip, Shakita. You had the clip playing? All right, we're going to go get that up and running in just a second. What happened 3 weeks ago could happen again, according to a Department of Homeland Security report over a terrorism advisory. Let me know when we have the clip ready. All right, we'll get that up and running this.
Well, they're not moving on. Far from it. Today, the Department of Homeland Security issued an updated threat bulletin that warns of the growing risk from ideologically motivated violent extremists who object to the presidential transition and other perceived grievances fueled by false narrative. It says that they could continue to mobilize, to incite, or commit violence. In other words, what happened just 3 short weeks ago on January 6th could happen again. And Republicans still want to, quote, move on. A coalition of 81 million diverse Americans elected President Biden.
Okay, so what you're looking at is a continuation of the January 6th insurrection, possible continuation. People with grievances, those all of that anger and all that, those people are still around. They've been kicked off of, many of them been kicked off of Twitter, kicked off of Facebook, and they've gone to darker areas of the internet to organize. All right. There was, let's look at there was one from NBC News. DHS issues terrorism advisory over domestic extremists emboldened by Capitol riot. And then there was also a more extensive article from ABC News. DHS uses federal alert system for first time in a year to warn of domestic terrorist threat. Quote, information suggests that some ideologically motivated violent extremists with objections to the exercise of governmental, with the objections to the exercise of governmental authority and the presidential transition, as well as other perceived grievances fueled by false narratives. I wonder where they got all these false narratives from. Because many of them are walking around with a head full of conspiracy theories. I wonder where they got this stuff from. I wonder, who do you think was the biggest purveyor of these false narratives? One of them is at Mar-a-Lago right now. Could continue to mobilize, as well as other perceived grievances fueled by false narratives, could continue to mobilize to incite or commit violence, end quote, according to a bulletin issued Wednesday through the Department of Homeland Security National Terrorist Advisory System, or NTAS. The system, and we'll show you this article here from ABC News. Let's see. Let's turn on the screen share so you can see this. Just a second here. All right. So, using the federal system designed to warn all Americans about terrorist threats to the U.S. homeland, the Department of Homeland Security has issued a warning that anger, quote unquote, fueled by false narratives, especially unfounded claims about the 2020 presidential election, could lead some inside the country to launch attacks in the coming weeks. Quote, information suggests that some ideologically motivated violent extremists with objections to the exercise of governmental authority and the presidential transition, as well as other perceived grievances fueled by false narratives, could continue to mobilize to incite or commit violence. Now, the system was last used to issue a public warning a year ago when DHS issued a bulletin over potential retaliation by Iran for the U.S. assassination of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani in Iraq days earlier. A year before that, the Department of Homeland Security issued a bulletin through the same system to highlight the threat from foreign terrorist groups like ISIS or Al-Qaeda. But over the past year, domestic terrorists, quote, motivated by a range of issues, including anger over COVID-19 restrictions, the 2020 election results, and police use of force, have plotted and on occasion carried out attacks against government facilities. And long-standing racial and ethnic tension, including opposition to immigration, has driven domestic terrorists, it should say largely white domestic terrorists, has driven these attacks, the bulletin issued Wednesday. Now, what's interesting, I mean, let's see, now, once again, this ties into the fear of the browning of America. We've talked about that here. This ties into the fear of the browning of America. Now, what's interesting is most of these people, most of these white domestic terrorists, they're descendants from immigrants. That's the funny thing. It ain't like you descendants of people who've been here for thousands of years in this land. Most of these people, they're descendants from immigrants. They're descended from immigrants. And this ties into the fear of the browning of America and the fear that some white people, not all white people, but the fear that some white people have of the year 2043. And demographers and the U.S. Census predict that in the year 2043, white people will no longer be the majority population in this country. Okay, they'll drop down to like 50%, and it'll be 50% non-white people. And you have some white people, not all of them, but some white people who are scared to death of what's going to happen when they're no longer a majority in this country. You have, now, I've talked about this before in a number of my lectures, especially I do a presentation called Political Self-Defense, Understanding How Laws and Policies Impact the economic conditions of African Americans, right? Let me share with you what the U.S. Census Bureau said in June of 2018, because I read the census memorandums and things like this. There was an article from New York Times called Fewer Births Than Deaths. fewer births than deaths. And it dealt with them. Now, all the news outlets at the time had articles. This is from June 20th, 2018. Okay. Now, once again, this is not attacking anybody. I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying. Okay. This is not attacking anybody who's not African American or not attacking any white people. I'm telling you what the U.S. Census Bureau is telling you. Okay. I'm dealing with the facts and evidence. Read this article from the New York Times. This is from June 20th, 2018. June 20th, 2018. Name of this article is called Fewer Births Than Deaths Among Whites in Majority of U.S. States. Now, my lectures, and I speak across the country, this is something this is one of the things I talk about, looking at trends. Okay. It talks about here how deaths now outnumber births among white people in more than half the states in the country, demographers have found, signaling what could be a faster than expected transition to a future in which whites are no longer a majority of the American population. The Census Bureau has projected that whites could drop below 50% of the population around the year 2045, a relatively slow-moving change that has been years in the making. But a new report this week, now this article is from June 2018, but a new report this week in June 2018 found that whites are dying faster than they are being born now in 26 states, up from 17 states just 2 years earlier. And demographers say the shift might come even sooner. Now, this is not Michael Imhotep. This is from the U.S. Census Bureau, reported by the New York Times. So if you got a problem with it, take it up with the U.S. Census Bureau. Don't come to me with this nonsense. I'm dealing with facts and evidence. Proper documentation ends all conversation. It's happening a lot faster than we thought, said Rogelio Saenz, S-A-E-N-Z, a demographer at the University of Texas at San Antonio and a co-author of the report. It examines the period from 1999 to 2016 using data from the National Center for Health Statistics, the federal agency that tracks births and deaths. He said he was so surprised at the finding that at first he thought it was a mistake. No, it's not a mistake. So the pattern first started nearly 2 decades ago in a handful of states with aging white populations, like Pennsylvania and West Virginia. But fertility rates dropped drastically after the Great Recession, and mortality rates for whites who are not of Hispanic origin have been rising, driven partly by drug overdoses. Because the increase from 17 states to 26 states has a lot to do with the opioid crisis and how the opioid crisis has been ravaging many communities across the country with larger white populations in communities in Ohio, West Virginia, things like this. That has put demographic change on a faster track. The list of states where white deaths outnumber births now includes North Carolina and Ohio. You got to see, when you start understanding, see, this is the type of information I study. I don't study conspiracy theory nonsense. This is the type of stuff I study. So I'm looking at stuff coming long before it actually hits, and I'm warning people about it. People are distracted by conspiracy theory nonsense, by social media pimps. Okay, but this article is from June 2018. The fear that now go back to 2016. Okay, go back to 2016. Let's look at this article here. You've heard me talk about this before. I do an entire lecture called African American Resistance in the Era of Donald Trump, Voter Suppression, Reparations, and How Elections Have Consequences. I did that in early 2017, first time that presentation. And going back to 2016 and months before the 2016 presidential election, I'm warning people about Trump because I'm looking at what's coming. Trump was a combination of Richard Nixon in 1968 and George Wallace, former governor of Alabama. Read this article. You've heard me talk about this before. This is from May 9th, 2017. We're going to go to the clip. Shakita standing by trying to figure out what the hell clip I'm going to next. Shakita, we're going to go to All In with Chris Hayes, chilling man charged with threats to Representative Jeffries. Cue that clip up. We're going to that next. All this is tied together. Okay. It was cultural anxiety that drove white working class voters to Trump. This is from May 9th, 2017. They're looking at why did these people vote for Trump? Okay. A new study finds that fear of societal change, not economic pressure, motivated votes for Trump among non-salaried workers without college degrees. A fear of societal change. They talk about cultural anxiety, which ties in, which is basically another name for the fear of the browning of America. All this is connected. So what did Trump do when he came down that escalator? Okay. What he demonized Mexicans, called them rapists and murderers, all type of stuff like that. He demonized them to tap into that fear that some white people have. Okay. And a lot of that fear was fueled by Fox News, right-wing media. Okay. That then lied to them about COVID-19 largely. And you had a lot of white people sitting there listening to this nonsense who died because they ran around without masks, following this dumbass. Okay. And then two black people that followed him were Herman Cain and Bishop, what's his name? Harry, what's the bishop's name? He died also. African-American conservative bishop following these dumbasses around. Harry Jackson. Bishop Harry Jackson. Okay. Both of them dead from COVID-19. All right. Following these idiots around. So check this one out also. Okay. It was, now this is from May 9th, 2017 from TheAHNShow.com. It was cultural anxiety that drove white working class voters to Trump. That's a euphemism for the fear of the browning of America. Okay. And you have a lot of white people fearing losing white supremacy. Not all white people subscribe to this. I want to make it clear, but you got enough for it to be a threat. Okay. And then if you go back, was it 2 nights ago? We talked about how in Georgia, right? All this is connected together. We're dealing with a system. Racism is a system of advantage and privilege distributed based upon race. Okay. Yeah. June 2018. Somebody was asking, we'll post an article here from New York Times. See, I have literally archives of about 30,000 articles. That's the type of research I do. Okay. So I got stuff going back years. This one right here, read this from New York Times. I use this in one of my lectures. Okay. It was, this is dealing with more births than deaths. I read the actual memo from the Census Bureau when it came out in June 2018. All the news outlets picked it up because I'm looking at these trends and I'm like, wait a second. It was just 17 states 2 years before that. It's 26 now. And you have a lot of people in the right-wing media who are fueling this fear and preying on ignorant people, pushing them, lying to them about Dominion voting systems, lying to them about stolen elections and things like this, rigged elections. They don't want to talk about voter suppression, targeting African Americans and Latinos and college students. They don't want to talk about that. Okay. Now, a couple nights, I'm going to this clip in just a second, Shakita. I just want to tie this together. A couple of days ago, we talked about this article here from Politico.com. All right. If you watch this show, you remember this. Okay. If you don't watch this show, you should start watching it. This is must-see TV, except it's on the radio. Okay. This is must-see TV, like NBC back in the 80s and 90s, is must-see TV. And we rebroadcast these shows all throughout the day on the African History Network, our Facebook fan page, the African History Network. Now, this is from Politico.com. All right. This is from January 24th, 2021. Let's look at this article here. Let's pull this up on the screen share. State Republicans push new voting restrictions after Trump's loss. Now, they're looking at Georgia. Now, other states are trying to do the same thing because you have Republicans who are feeling power slipping away from them. And they saw an uprising of African Americans, of Hispanics, even Asian Americans voting their behinds out of office in 2020. State Republicans pushed new voting restrictions after Trump's loss. Georgia is at the center of the effort, with state Republicans discussing voter ID changes and other new policies after Biden won the state. So once again, you see them trying to maintain power. They are still, you have a lot of people in Georgia, mainly white people, maybe the white Republicans, not all white people, but mainly white Republicans, who are furious that they lost 2 Senate seats, okay? And one of them was won by an African-American man, because that was not supposed to happen. That's why State Representative Denmark Groover in 1963 pushed to have the statewide runoff election rule put in place. It was specifically designed to lock African Americans out of statewide political power in statewide elections. And Reverend Raphael Warnock beat the system. So what they're doing now in the state of Georgia is they're trying to come back and change the laws in Georgia to make it harder for African Americans to vote, so these people can maintain power, because they're focused on the 2022 midterm election. And Reverend Raphael Warnock's term is only 2 years. He's finishing out a term, so he has to run for re-election in 2022. They're focused on taking that seat back, and they know that Stacey Abrams is going to run for governor again in 2022. And they know if things stay the way they are, if Stacey Abrams runs for governor in Georgia, she's going to win this time, because there's an infrastructure built. People are electrified. African Americans realize why they have to vote. They realize what is at stake. They see how ignorant Brian Kemp is, okay, governor of Georgia. They see how many lives have been lost by his incompetence handling the coronavirus pandemic. And they know, look, that sister just barely lost the election in 2018 because it was stolen. Talk about stolen election. That was stolen from her. So Republicans know if Stacey Kemp runs in 2022, she's going to win. So what are they trying to do now? Instead of them trying to appeal to African Americans and talk about how their policies are better and we're for criminal justice reform and raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour from $7.25 an hour, where it's been since 2009, 2010, when Democrats raised it the last time when they had control of the House. Instead of them focus on, we're going to vote for the George Floyd Truth and Justice Act, and we're going to support all these initiatives, and we're for lowering college debt and making college affordable, and we want to help you create wealth. Instead of them talking about that, they're trying to institute laws to make it hard for us to vote. And then they want us to listen to Karen Owens and Terrence C. Williams and F. Lee Francis and all these other idiotic black conservatives running around talking this nonsense. Okay? All of this is connected. All right, now let's go to this clip here for Marlon with Chris Hayes. This is from January 26, 2021. Representative Hakeem Jeffries is talking about the threat made on his family. Let's go to this clip, Shakita. I think Shakita fell asleep. We got the clip going. We got it ready. Okay, so this is from All In with Chris Hayes on January 26, 2021. Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York is talking about the threat that was made on his family. Okay. He said, quote, "This is something that unfolded on January 6th, directed at..." Okay, let's go.
Chair of the House Democratic Caucus. Great to have you on, Congressman. Just tell me what you know and what you're willing to say. Obviously, there's some security concerns here about the threat this individual directed at family members of yours on January 6th.
Well, good evening, Chris. Thanks for having me on. And I just want to express my thanks and deep gratitude to the FBI, the NYPD, the Capitol Police, as well as all of the law enforcement authorities who clearly have taken this threat and all of the threats that have been directed at members of Congress and others seriously in a moment where we saw a violent attack on the Capitol incited and encouraged by Donald Trump. This is something that unfolded on January 6th, directed at a family member of mine. This individual apparently had secured a phone number, secured an address, made it appear as though they were prepared to proceed violently, either at the address of my family member and or my own home address at the same time that the Capitol was being attacked. The most important thing here, Chris, is that what was chilling in the message that was received is that this individual said, "Stop telling lies. Biden did not win.
Yeah.
He will not be president." And so he was radicalized by the big lie that Donald Trump told, and that has been supported by so many Republicans in the House and the Senate.
I just want to be clear on the details because I read through some of the unsealed complaint in the Southern District, and I want to protect the identity of folks here, so I'll just refer to a family member. But just, I mean, it's one thing, obviously you're a congressman, right? And I can imagine that your cell phone number probably circulates among various people, and if you got a threat like that, it would spook you and you would report it. But for a family member of yours who had their cell phone number, someone say, "You go talk to your brother or we're coming for you," and also intimate that they were outside possibly of the residence or knew where the residence of this family member was, when this is unfolding on national television, that is really unnerving.
Certainly was unnerving, and this is something that actually unfolded at the same moment that we had been evacuated. The mob is violently attacking the Capitol. Those images were being broadcast to family members of Congress all across the country who were uncertain as to what was happening to us, and at the same time communicating on a cell phone that is not publicly available and sending images of the neighborhood where this family member resides. And so it was clearly designed to instill terror, and I'm just thankful that law enforcement officials have apprehended this individual and will allow the process to play itself out. But we can't allow the radicalization of these individuals to go without consequence. And the former president of the United States is responsible for this type of activity. He's the person who has perpetrated the big lie that he actually won the election and that the presidency was stolen by Joe Biden and Democrats in the House and other individuals like Mike Pence. That's why there were people who violently attacked the Capitol, who were there to assassinate Nancy Pelosi, hang Mike Pence, and hunt down members of Congress. And now you've got Senate Republicans who want to whitewash the whole thing. Well, we're not going to allow them to whitewash anything. The House impeachment managers are going to proceed, and they're going to present a compelling case. And I'm hopeful that we can find 12 additional Senate Republicans prepared to do the right thing and convict Donald Trump.
Yeah, what goes through your head when you hear Nikki Haley say, I mean, come on, move on? I mean,
hey, pause it right there. Shakita, I know we're out of time. Okay, those watching on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, keep watching. We're going to keep broadcasting. We're out of time here on 910 AM Superstation WFDF. Right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. Stay tuned for Pastor Greg Davis. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. Stand by, everybody. Okay, we're going to continue with the rest of that clip, and I've got more for you. We'll be here for a little while longer. We do an hour on 910 AM, the Superstation WFDF in Detroit. and we finish up here on our social media platforms. African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. Email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com, customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. I'll be working on commercials. We're working on commercials the next few days. And then we create a video commercial for you. Current promotion, buy 1 month, get 1 month free. You actually get 200 commercials in 30 days. 200 commercials in 30 days, okay? With blackbusinesstee.com, the messages are clear and meaningful. Keep your business in the black and out of the red. Mind your black business. Know your numbers and plan strategically. Black Business Boss, lead your industry. Support black business, encourage, patronize, and uplift one another. BlackBusinessTea.com currently has products sold in Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, and Los Angeles, with proceeds returned to the black community. They have a wide selection of hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, hats, sweatshirts that support black-owned businesses. Visit the website blackbusinesstee.com. That's blackbusinesstee.com. For 25 years, the Black History 101 Mobile Museum has carried on the rich legacy of the Black Museum movement in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making it the most traversed Black History mobile exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalid El Hakim is the founder of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought-after public speaker on topics of Black history, social studies, education, museum studies, hip-hop, and race relations. Dr. Khalid was named among the change makers for NBC Universal's Erase the Hate campaign and listed as one of the 100 men of distinction for Black enterprise. He recently founded the Michigan Hip Hop Archive on the campus of Western Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Dr. Khalid Al Hakim directly at 313-645-4197, 313-645-4197, or visit their website at blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. That's blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. You can also email him at bhistory101@yahoo.com, bhistory101@yahoo.com. Soul Natural Beauty Products offers organic, plant-based skin and hair care products that will rejuvenate skin and naturally grow and thicken hair. Their whipped shea butter can heal or restore damaged skin cells to prevent hyperpigmentation and skin breakouts. All products are made with organic plant-based ingredients. Their maximum hair growth oil is fortified with organic herbal extracts and undeniably proves that Mother Nature knows best. It thickens, lengthens, softens, and conditions all types of hair. They even guarantee hair improvement within 90 days or a full refund. Their all-natural 24-hour deodorant leaves the body smelling fresh without sweating for up to 24 hours. It does not stain fabric, goes on smoothly, and has a refreshing lavender and frankincense aroma. It can be used by men, women, and even children. Place your order today at soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com. That's soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com, and follow them on Facebook at Soul Natural Beauty Products. Intuitive Design Clothing is an online accessory store that sells one-of-a-kind signature statement pieces for men and women. They also specialize in fashion consultations, closet organization, and decorating small spaces. Are you looking for a statement piece for a special affair, or would you like to add some select pieces to your ensemble of accessories? If you're looking for something different, definitely contact Kathy Newton owner and CEO of Intuitive Design Clothing. Visit their website, intuitivedesignclothing.com. That's intuitivedesignclothing.com, and you can email her at info@intuitivedesignclothing.com. Intuitive Design Clothing, where every entrance is a grand entrance.
Do you have an idea or business that requires app development or thinking of moving your IT resources to the cloud? We have post-paid and profit-sharing plans for unique ideas or profitable businesses. Who can take advantage of this unique program? Entrepreneurs with unique ideas, startups, small to medium businesses. Contact us 267-209-0352. Visit nomadicsystems.net, nomadicsystems.net today. We're going to deal with this story here. Then we're going to go to, we're going to talk a little bit about this article from newsone.com that deals with Susan Rice and the press conference she gave yesterday dealing with an equitable and inclusive recovery. And then there's a segment from MSNBC, NAACP Executive Director Derek Johnson talked about the executive orders that President Joe Biden signed on Tuesday, January 26th, dealing with racial equity, etc. Okay, we'll deal with that. Then we'll talk about Zara Cully. We'll talk about Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron, cause of death has been revealed, natural causes. More information has come out. We talked about this a few days ago. Autopsy was done. More information has come out. We'll deal with that. And we'll talk about Zara Cully as well, Mother Jefferson from the Jeffersons. Her birthday was January 26th. And she was born, she died in 1978. We all know that. Mother Jefferson from the Jeffersons. We remember when she passed away. Most of the people who were alive then watching the Jeffersons. But she was born in 1892. Okay? I talked about this a little bit yesterday at the beginning of the show, and we ran out of time, just like we ran out of time today. Didn't get a chance to talk about it, but we'll squeeze that in today. She was born in 1892. She was born 27 years after the Civil War ended, 27 years after slavery ended, 27 years after the 13th Amendment. She was born 3 years before Frederick Douglass died. Okay? So we'll talk about Zara Cully. All right, let's go back to this clip here from All In with Chris Hayes. This is Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York talking about man charged with threats to family of Hakeem Jeffries and what was going on during the insurrection by white domestic terrorists, largely January 6th at the U.S. Capitol building. Let's go back to this clip.
And at the same time, communicating on a cell phone that is not publicly available and sending images of the neighborhood where this family member resides. And so it was clearly designed to instill terror. And I'm just thankful that law enforcement officials have apprehended this individual and will allow the process to play itself out. But we can't allow the radicalization of these individuals to go without consequence. And the former president of the United States is responsible for this type of activity. He's the person who has perpetrated the big lie that he actually won the election and that the presidency was stolen by Joe Biden and Democrats in the House and other individuals like Mike Pence. That's why there were people who violently attacked the Capitol, who were there to assassinate Nancy Pelosi, hang Mike Pence, and hunt down members of Congress. And now you've got Senate Republicans who want to whitewash the whole thing. Well, we're not going to allow them to whitewash anything. The House impeachment managers are going to proceed and they're going to present a compelling case. And I'm hopeful that we can find 12 additional Senate Republicans prepared to do the right thing and convict Donald Trump.
Yeah, what goes through your head when you hear Nikki Haley say, I mean, come on, move on. I mean, give the guy a break.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an outrageous statement and shows how people who I previously had respect for have just been corrupted with their sycophantic behavior in connection with Donald Trump for whatever the reason. It's really a sickness that seems to have infected the Republican Party, and hopefully they'll figure out how to extricate themselves from it. Nikki, we are not moving on from insurrection. We're not moving on from sedition. We're not moving on from a violent assault on the Capitol, no matter what you might think of our effort to hold this president accountable.
All right. So, man, I like Representative Hakeem Jeffries. I like Representative. He's an attorney. He uses those polysyllabic words that screws people up. I like Representative Hakeem Jeffries. All right. So, see, once again, this is all tied together. So what he talked about on, that was from All In with Chris Hayes from Tuesday, January 26, 2021. What he talked about, that ties into this domestic terrorist warning from the Department of Homeland Security. Okay. Quote, DHS is concerned that these same drivers to violence. Now, this is the article from abcnews.go, ABC News. Let's go back to the screen share. How's everybody doing? All right. Also, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me / the AHN Show, or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. So it helps us keep doing the research, broadcast 6 days a week, pay some of the bills, buy all this paper and ink, all of this. All right. Let's go back to this article here. All right. DHS is concerned that these same drivers to violence will remain through early 2021, and some domestic terrorists may be emboldened by the January 6, 2021 breach of the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. to target elected officials and government facilities, the bulletin said. Violent supporters of then President Donald Trump, stormed the Capitol 3 weeks ago, many of them believing, based on unfounded claims from Trump himself, that the 2020 presidential election had been stolen from Trump through fraud. Wednesday's public warning echoes what intelligence bulletins sent privately to law enforcement officials in recent weeks have said, underscoring a continued threat from violence-prone individuals who still believe President Joe Biden's election was illegitimate. Now, this is when you can't even call this keeping it real. You call it keeping it real dumb. This is when keeping it real dumb goes too far. They're going with the bit too far, okay? And you had Trump that kept lying, Rudy Giuliani that kept lying, because they were pimping these people for donations. Trump raised over $250 million to on this lie that the election was stolen, and this lie that they're gonna file all these lawsuits and overturn election results, things like this. There were 60 court cases. Election results weren't overturned. A lot of these cases were thrown out of court because they were frivolous, but they kept lying to these people, pimping them. Okay. And now a bunch of them getting arrested, getting indicted, things like this. And Trump's at Mar-a-Lago playing golf and putting pressure on Republican senators not to vote to convict him in the impeachment trial. All right, so read the rest of this article here from ABC News. DHS uses federal alert system for first time in a year to warn of domestic terror threat. Okay, and let's see here. We'll show it to you. Check out this full article here. And NBC News has one also. The one from ABC News is more extensive. Washington Post has reporting on this as well. DHS uses federal alert system for first time in a year to warn of domestic terrorist threat. Now, if I was writing the article, I'd say white domestic terrorists, but Okay. TC said, who said pimping ain't easy? That's what I'm saying. When you got dummies like this, oh my God. All right, let's go to the next story. We talked about this yesterday. There was a press conference that, so at the White House press secretary briefing that Jen Psaki is holding now each day, Susan Rice spoke. Okay, Susan Rice did the presentation, and she's domestic policy advisor. News1.com has an article about this, and I may play that clip from tomorrow because I know some people missed it. There's so much going on. Let's look at this here. I posted this article on my personal page today, and we have to share it on our fan page. New race czar Susan Rice ensures, quote, an equitable and inclusive economic recovery. Susan Rice's role as race czar comes after the NAACP demanded the Biden-Harris administration create a new position addressing racial justice, equity, and advancement. Okay, so as President Joe Biden announced plans to take actions to address persistent racial inequities, domestic policy advisor Susan Rice steps into the role as the newly created race czar, created in response to demands from civil rights leaders. Now, that's not her official title, race czar, is domestic policy advisor, but this, what they wanted, that is falling under her scope of services or scope of responsibilities. Now, during a press conference Tuesday, January 26, Susan Rice said the president was committed to an equitable and inclusive economic recovery. Reporting for the Griot, April Ryan highlighted the federal government's aim to address racial justice and equity across all decision-making processes and agencies. April Ryan tweeted, and okay, yeah, you all can see this. April Ryan tweeted, domestic policy Ambassador Rice, at Ambassador Rice, now has included in her portfolio the title of Biden admin race civil rights czar. The position is the answer to the NAACP request to handle this pervasive issue of racial injustice and inequity. At Derek NAACP, Derek Johnson, executive director of the NAACP and president, says it is a great initial step. Now, calling for bold strategies to end systemic racism, NAACP president and CEO Derek Johnson applauded Biden's appointment of Susan Rice. Quote, we can no longer afford a piecemeal approach or to address these issues solely through civil rights offices, Derek Johnson said in a brief statement last week. Quote, we must identify strategies for coordinating and deploying all levers of the federal government to tackle structural inequality. Johnson said the NAACP demanded the creation of such a position to address the ongoing challenges and barriers posed by racial inequality. Quote, it will require a Herculean effort to eliminate the institutional barriers throughout the government that still perpetuate racial inequality. We are elated the Biden administration has appointed Dr. Susan Rice to lead this August challenge. Now, Johnson called for Rice to have the resources and staffing necessary to carry out this task after a December meeting with the incoming Biden administration. The NAACP called for the creation of a position to focus on racial justice, equity, and advancement. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Check out the rest of this article here from news1.com. We're going to go to the press conference that was held yesterday. Let me pull this up. I think this clip is about 4 minutes, so we're going to squeeze this in here. And then you can read the executive order. This is from the 26th, January 26th, Tuesday. You can read the executive order. Go to whitehouse.gov. You can read all the executive orders there. It's like 40 of them now. You can read all of them there. whitehouse.gov. I've been going through reading them. Which one did I print up? Where'd I put it? Oh, it's okay. Let's see. Let's cue this up here. Okay, Susan writes on Biden's plan for racial inequity. Investing in equity is good for economic growth. She's citing information coming from the study from Citigroup Bank that we've talked about a number of times here that shows that over a 20-year period of time from the year 2000 to the year 2020, the U.S. economy lost $16 trillion because of racism. Lost $16 trillion because of racism over a 20-year period of time. Let's go to this clip.
These are desperate times for so many Americans, and all Americans need urgent federal action to meet this moment. Today, President Biden will deliver a national address on his plans to advance racial justice and equity, starting with an equitable and inclusive recovery. President Biden will renew the federal government's commitment to making the American dream real for families across the nation by taking ambitious steps to redress inequality in our economy and expand opportunity for communities that have been left behind, including communities of color. His economic plans make historic investments in underserved communities and put equity at the heart of our recovery. His ambitious agenda builds on a legacy of Americans forging opportunity out of crisis. These aren't feel-good policies. The evidence is clear. Investing in equity is good for economic growth, and it creates jobs for all Americans. Economists have estimated that the U.S. economy has lost a staggering $16 trillion over the last 20 years because of discrimination against families of color. If we closed racial gaps in income and opportunity, these same economists have estimated we could add $5 trillion to the U.S. economy over the next 5 years and add over 6 million new jobs for all Americans. So building a more equitable economy is essential if Americans are going to compete and thrive in the 21st century. We've hit the ground running to embed equity throughout the administration. On day one, the president signed an executive order directing an unprecedented whole-of-government initiative to embed racial equity across federal policies, programs, and institutions. That starts with a review of policies and institutions to redress systemic racism where it exists and to advance equity where we aren't doing enough. Every agency will place equity at the core of their public engagement, their policy design and program delivery, to ensure that government resources are reaching Americans of color and all marginalized communities, rural, urban, disabled, LGBTQ+, religious minorities, and so many others.
Let me toss it back to you because we see.
All right, so check that out from, let me see, is this in there? I'm looking for. Okay, so check that out from MSNBC. Check that out from MSNBC. So we talked about that on yesterday's show. That was from January 26, 2021. Okay, that was from January 26, 2021. That was early in the day. Then Joe Biden signed 4 executive orders later that day, one of them tying into racial equity. So read all of the executive orders at whitehouse.gov. And I just showed you one. That was from, which one was that? Was that from the 20? Okay, this was one of the first ones. This was on day one. This is on January 20th, 2021. That was the day of the inauguration. That was a half day of work. He did like 10 executive orders that day. Okay. And as we said yesterday, you want laws passed through the legislative branch of government. But while you're waiting on Congress to figure everything out, the executive orders that Biden can do right now, and a lot of these executive orders are reversing executive orders that Trump did, because there were 192 executive orders that Trump did in his 4 years in office. Okay. All right. So check all these out. All right. Now, The $5 trillion that she talked about there ties into, as we said yesterday, ties into this study from Citigroup Bank that deals with, that quantifies the impact that racism has had, okay, on African Americans and the U.S. in general. This is it, and I've done a whole presentation on this. This is from CBS News. Racism has cost the U.S. $16 trillion, Citigroup finds. This is from September 23rd, 2020. September 23rd, 2020. So when we make arguments for reparations, we make arguments based upon the facts and the evidence and the data. Stuff like this right here. And if you really want to make arguments for reparations, which deals with repairing the damage that was done from 246 years of slavery and a legacy of slavery, Jim Crow segregation, you deal with conditions right now that are existing right now that are the results of laws and policies put in place. And then you deal with the history of those laws and policies going back to slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow segregation, Plessy versus Ferguson, redlining, the New Deal, things like this, and bring it back up to the day. But you start not in slavery, because people are going to say, oh, I didn't know slaves, that was 156 years ago. Deal with conditions right now and the structural inequities, and understanding that racism is a system of advantage and privilege distributed based upon race, which comes out of the ideology of European white supremacy, which is designed to preserve genetic white survival. Racism occurs when one race of people control the majority of the wealth, power, resources, benefits, privileges, land, access to education, access to opportunity, healthcare, jobs, media, etc., and they use that to marginalize, subordinate, and do harm to another race of people. So this deals with how the U.S. economy has lost $16 trillion over the past 20 years, from the year 2000 to the year 2020, because of inequities when it comes to education, housing, wages, and business investment between African Americans and white Americans over a 20-year period of time. Okay, it found that African American workers have lost $113 billion in potential wages over the past 2 decades because they could not get a college degree. It found that the housing market lost $218 billion in sales because African American applicants could not get home loans. And it found that $13 trillion in business revenue never flowed into the economy because African American entrepreneurs could not get bank loans. So what this is doing is not just showing how racism is negatively impacted African Americans, but the ripple effect it has throughout all the economy, and showing how racism negatively impacts everyone. And then if you do right by African Americans, if you do things that help African Americans and lift us up, that will have a ripple effect also throughout the economy. So what's good for us is largely good for America at the same time. But you have a lot of people who buy into trying to keep the status quo and keep these policies in place to maldistribute wealth, power, and resources to the hands of the few and lock us out of opportunities to keep these policies in place, to keep racism in place, because they think that they benefit from it. And largely, a lot of white people who buy into this and wanted Donald Trump back in office are the ones being oppressed, standing in food lines. Okay, who've lost their jobs, lost their health care, lost their businesses. Now, the $5 trillion that Susan Rice talked about. What's more, the U.S. could have $5 trillion in gross domestic product over the next 5 years if those gaps and others were closed today, the study indicated. So this is showing how over the next 5 years, if we correct these structural inequities, that's going to help boost the economy and help everybody. It'll disproportionately help African Americans, but what's good when you do right by us, that's going to help the overall economy, and that's going to help benefit all of America. But when you screw us over, you're going to have hell to pay. Racial inequality has always had an outsized cost, one that was thought to be paid only by underrepresented groups, Citigroup banking chair Raymond McGuire said in a statement. What this report underscores is that this tariff is levied on all of us. What this report quantifies is how racism hurts everybody, not just African Americans. How we get the brunt of it is historic, but this is quantifying how racism hurts everybody. So it's in everybody's interest to correct the structural inequities. That's what this study is quantifying. That's what Susan Rice was referencing. And then in one of the executive orders from Biden, they referenced that $5 trillion statistic. All right, so check this out also. Okay, next topic, because we got to get the hell out of here. Let's see. Okay, we got that. And some of this other stuff we're going to say till tomorrow night. All right. Okay, Hank Aaron. Okay, we did that. This Hank Aaron. Okay, let's go to this here. So Black America Web, we talked about this, I think 2 nights ago. And it deals with People Magazine, people.com, had an article dealing with Hank Aaron's cause of death. All right. And it was due natural causes. And it was dealing with an autopsy. Let me say that from the beginning. Okay. It wasn't speculation. It wasn't conspiracy theory. Okay. It wasn't what Pebbles told Cookie that she thought she heard. Okay. It was dealing with, it was based upon the autopsy. All right, let's go to this here. Let's pull this up here. So if we look at this article here from blackamericaweb.com, and let's pull this up. This is from January 27th, 2021. I'm going to try to pull this up from Black America Web. Hank Aaron died of natural causes, death not linked to COVID-19 vaccine. Now keep in mind, because I saw somebody posted this idiotic meme by somebody. I don't remember who this person was, but they posted this idiotic meme that said, Hank Aaron took the vaccine and then a week later he died. Okay, something stupid like that. Okay, one, he took the vaccine January 5th. He died January 22nd, so it wasn't a week later, number one. Number two, the meme didn't say Hank Aaron was 86 years old. The meme didn't say he was 86 years old. Okay, let's look at this here from Black America Web. Now, it's up to you whether you take the vaccine or not. First thing I tell people is consult with your doctor. Don't listen to some stupid ass on social media that has no medical training, no medical background, and doesn't know your medical history and doesn't know your risk factors. Consult with your doctor. Do your research. Ask questions. That's fine. Consult with your doctor. Consult with medical professionals. Okay? Not people that don't know you and don't know your medical history and your risk factors and things like that. That don't even make sense. Asking questions is fine. I mean, there are commercials that tell you when you go to your doctor, ask questions. So asking questions about the vaccine is fine. But consult with medical professionals. Okay? Not people on social media just don't know what the hell they're talking about. So let's look at this here. Okay, Hank Aaron died of natural causes, death not linked to COVID-19 vaccine. They're citing the autopsy. So the death of legendary slugger Hank Aaron is still heavy on the minds of many, and we know he was buried today also. Okay, still heavy on the minds of many, and new details about his passing have emerged after concerns were sparked that he died of complications of COVID-19 vaccine. It has been confirmed that Hank Aaron passed away from natural causes. Atlanta outlet 11 Alive reports that an investigator with the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed that Aaron did indeed die of natural causes. Early in the month, Aaron joined with a number of Atlanta notables, such as Andrew Young, in receiving a round of the 2-shot vaccine. Now, we talked about this, was it Sunday? We talked about it. It was either Sunday or Monday show. The information came out from people.com, and it cited the autopsy. Okay. So we've already discussed it, but just more information came out. Now, according to Andrew Young, Hank Aaron did not have any adverse reactions to the vaccine, and explained to 11 Alive there in Atlanta, Georgia, 11 Alive news outlet and news station in Atlanta, Georgia, his view of things. He said, quote, "I talked to the fella who was his driver, and I said, was Hank feeling any discomfort or any problem over the last few days?" And he said, quote, "No, he wanted to keep his schedule," end quote. Andrew Young told the outlet. Now, concerns around the rapidly developed vaccines have been cropping up as the coronavirus pandemic continues its vice grip on the nation and others of the world. However, the vaccines have been deemed safe by the highest medical authorities in the land, and an extensive rollout to combat the spread of the virus have been underway since late last year. The loss of hammering Hank Aaron has been a tough one to endure on baseball fans, etc. Let's see here. Let's go back up. Let's look at 11 Alive. I looked at some different reporting on this here. Okay. Yeah, let's look at this here. 11alive.com. So I already looked at the article from People Magazine. We dealt with that, I think, either Sunday or Monday. And then more information has come out. Medical examiner investigated with the office confirmed with News 11 on Monday. Okay, so this is from January 25th, 2021. Appears to natural cause. Fulton County Medical Examiner investigated with the office confirmed the news with 11 Alive on Monday, days after announcement. There's still currently no indication that COVID-19 vaccine, which we received early this month, alongside other Atlanta civil rights greats, was a contributing factor in this death. Medical examiner told, okay, in an interview with Ambassador Young, okay, we talked about that. Talked to the longtime home run king, okay. Aaron Adair, racist, okay. I just want to make sure we got all the pertinent information. All right, yeah. So check this out also. This is the original article here from 11alive.com in Georgia. Hank Aaron's cause of death. Natural medical examiners say, once again, he was 86 years old. So I saw a whole lot of stuff circulating. People were quick to just, not knowing anything about his medical background, not even citing his age, just quick to make the correlation between the two. I just found that very interesting. You know, I heard people say, oh, he took it last week and then he died. No, January 5th, died January 22nd. But he was 86 years old. Good chance it was natural causes. You know, so I just find it very interesting when people are so quick to jump to conclusions. But, you know, but rest assured, there'll be another conspiracy theory tomorrow that they'll be pushing. And keep in mind, a lot of these same people early in 2020 said black people couldn't get coronavirus. So much for that. Oh, so much for that lie. They had to go find another one. They'll probably have another one tomorrow. All right. So, next story.
With blackbusinesstee.com, the messages are clear and meaningful. Keep your business in the black and out of the red. Mind your black business. Know your numbers and plan strategically. Black business boss, lead your industry. Support black business. Encourage, patronize, and uplift one another. BlackBusinessT.com currently has products sold in Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, and Los Angeles, with proceeds returned to the black community. They have a wide selection of hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, hats, sweatshirts that support black-owned businesses. Visit the website blackbusinesstee.com. That's blackbusinesstee.com.
Do you have an idea or business that requires app development or thinking of moving your IT resources to the cloud? We have post-paid and profit-sharing plans for unique ideas or profitable businesses. Who can take advantage of this unique program? Entrepreneurs with unique ideas, startups, small to medium businesses. Contact us 267-209-0352.
Visit nomadicsystems.net, nomadicsystems.net today. Visit 4glossygirls.com. That's the number 4glossygirls.com, and follow them on Instagram at 4glossygirls. Soul Natural Beauty Products offers organic, plant-based skin and hair care products that will rejuvenate skin and naturally grow and thicken hair. Their whipped shea butter can heal or restore damaged skin cells to prevent hyperpigmentation and skin breakouts. All products are made with organic plant-based ingredients. Their maximum hair growth oil is fortified with organic herbal extracts and undeniably proves that Mother Nature knows best. It thickens, lengthens, softens, and conditions all types of hair. They even guarantee hair improvement within 90 days or a full refund. Their all-natural 24-hour deodorant leaves the body smelling fresh without sweating for up to 24 hours. It does not stain fabric, goes on smoothly, and has a refreshing lavender and frankincense aroma. It can be used by men, women, and even children. Place your order today at soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com. That's soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com, and follow them on Facebook at Soul Natural Beauty Products.
Are you getting ready for fall or winter? We have the solution for all seasonal clothing needs. Comedicwear.com is the go-to online source for comedic African fashion and lifestyle products with a contemporary twist. We're committed to offering unique styles reflecting our African heritage. Comedicwear.com is inspired by ComedicScribes.com to influence our people in learning and showing pride. Please visit our website at ComedicWear.com.
Zara Cully was Mother Jefferson on the Jeffersons. And a lot of people remember Zara Cully. And she was born, let's see. Let's do this right here. Blow that up. So Zara Cully, we do birthday acknowledgments here, right? And this is a birthday acknowledgement and a history lesson altogether. So Zara Cully was Mother Jefferson on the Jeffersons, okay? And she was a veteran actress. And her birthday was January 26th, okay? So we talked about this yesterday, and we posted about it also. There was a post from Soul TV. And we share this on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network. And I grew up watching the Jeffersons. Many of us did. Okay, moving on up to the east side to Deluxe Apartment in the Sky, right? The theme song written by Janae Dubois, okay, who was Willona Woods on Good Times, okay, and she sung the theme song also. And I remember when Zara Cully passed away. It was in 1978. It was in Jet Magazine and Ebony Magazine and everything. And they wrote into the storyline of the Jeffersons. But I did not know that she was born in 1892. Okay, so I was going to deal with some other history today. Then we'll save it till tomorrow. We'll talk about A. Philip Randolph and the March on Washington, the original March on Washington that he threatened in 1941. Okay, we'll talk about that tomorrow, which led to Executive Order 8802, signed by President Roosevelt, that desegregated jobs in the Department of Defense. We'll say that history lesson till tomorrow. But Zara Cully, being born in 1892, she was born 3 years before Frederick Douglass died. And I had to check a number of different sources. I said, that can't be true. I had to check a number of different sources to make sure that what I was reading was correct. Because I'm like, wait a second. When we watch the Jeffersons, because I'm never going to look at the Jeffersons the same way. These episodes with Zara Cully, we're looking at a woman that was born 3 years before Frederick Douglass died. She was born 27 years after slavery ended. 27 years after the Civil War ended. Now, I don't know about her parents. I want to research her parents. It's possible her parents were former slaves. Depending upon what age they were when they had her and things like this, it's possible her parents were former slaves. If they weren't former slaves, her parents knew former slaves, most likely. If she was born 3 years before Frederick Douglass died, it's very possible her parents read about Frederick Douglass, read about his speeches while he was living. Okay? So let's look at some history on Zara Cully, also known as Mother Jefferson from the Jeffersons. And we have a tribute to her also, Mother Jefferson's greatest hits. Okay, we have that coming up. I've been doing some research, all right? So we're gonna deal with Mother Jefferson's greatest hits here in a minute, all right? So hold on. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. All right, so Zara Cully was best known for her role as Olivia Mother Jefferson on the CBS sitcom The Jeffersons, which she portrayed from the series beginning in 1975 until her death in 1978. In 1940, after an appearance in New York City, she became known as, quote, one of the world's greatest elocutionists, end quote. After moving to Jacksonville, Florida, she began producing, writing, directing, and acting in numerous plays. Now, before really doing this research on her, I knew she was a veteran actress. I didn't know she was directing and writing and all this. I didn't know she was doing all this. Okay? I mean, we have, a lot of times we see people acting. It's just like, it was one of the guys who was on Amos and Andy, the TV show Amos and Andy. Okay? This guy was, what's his name? Spencer Williams? Yeah, Spencer Williams, that's what it was. Spencer Williams, American actor. Spencer Williams was a director as well. Okay? So it's like when you go start researching a lot of these actors and actresses from the 30s and 40s and 50s, they were doing more than what you just saw on the screen. Okay, so after moving to Jacksonville, Florida, she began producing, writing, and directing and acting in numerous plays. For 15 years, she was a drama teacher at her own studio, as well as at Edward Waters College, a historically black college founded in 1866, okay, to educate freed slaves. She had become known as Florida's Dean of Drama. Upset by the racism she experienced in the Jim Crow era South, Zara Cully decided to move to Hollywood, where she became a regular performer at the Ebony Showcase. By the time she acquired the role of Mother Jefferson, Zara Cully had accumulated a long list of acting credentials spanning half a century, including such movies as The Liberation of L.B. Jones in 1970, a starring role in Brother John in 1971, and the blaxploitation films Sugar Hill in 1974 and Darktown Strutters in 1975. Her TV career went back to what critics called the golden age of television, including appearances on the highly acclaimed Playhouse 90 series. Aside from the Jeffersons, her television credits included The People Next Door on CBS Playhouse, Run for Your Life, NBC Matinee Theater, Cowboy in Africa, The Name of the Game, Mod Squad, Night Gallery, and All in the Family. And in 1974, appearance in which she originated the Mother Jefferson role, which she then carried over to the Jeffersons when the show The Jeffersons spun off from All in the Family. Zara Cully's first appearance as Mother Olivia Jefferson was in a guest appearance on an episode of All in the Family entitled Lionel's Engagement. Lionel's Engagement. Now, in that episode, they had another woman playing Helen Willis. Okay, that episode, if I remember correctly, that was Lynn Hamilton, who portrayed the first Helen Willis. Okay, now we all know Lynn Hamilton from an episode of Sanford and Son, where she was a door-to-door saleswoman selling cleaning products, and Fred set up a date with her the same night he had a date with Donna, and Fred is singing "She's Got a Fine Brown Frame." That's Lynn Hamilton, all right? Veteran actress Lynn Hamilton. She was the first Helen Willis. Then they brought in Roxy Roker, okay, to be Helen Willis. Roxy Roker is the mother of Lenny Kravitz, all right? So all this stuff is connected. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so she first did the Mother Jefferson role on a guest appearance of All in the Family entitled Lionel's Engagement, which aired February 9th, 1974. She was 82 years old at the time. And you remember that episode is Lionel's engagement party, and Archie Bunker's there, right? And George does not know that Jenny Jefferson's parents are an interracial couple. Okay, he doesn't know this. But George gets into an argument with his mother. Archie Bunker tells George, he says, "Hey there, Jefferson, there's no way to talk to your little mammy there." And then Mother Jefferson goes off on him. She says, "Mammy? Who are you calling mammy?" She said, I'm nobody's mammy. I'm George's mother. He said, what? He said, "Hey there, Mrs. Jefferson, I didn't mean anything by it." He said, "I thought all coloreds called their mama's mammy." He said, "Al Jolson is colored. He calls his mama mammy." Okay, so Al Jolson, he's referencing Al Jolson from the movie The Jazz Singer, and Al Jolson was performing in blackface. Al Jolson is performing in is a white man performing in blackface. Archie Bunker thinks Al Jolson is black. Because see, the whole thing with Archie Bunker is showing how ignorant bigots are. That was the whole thing with Archie Bunker. It's showing how ignorant bigots are. Okay, when you go and follow it. Now, Archie Bunker, he wasn't the one to join the Klan. He wasn't talking about beating up African Americans, things like this. But it's showing how ignorant and uneducated bigots are. Okay, this is the whole thing. And then Fred Sanford was like a black version of Archie Bunker. And Fred Sanford, it was showing how, really is ridiculous to be a bigot. So Julio Fuentes, Gregory Sierra, who just passed away January 4th, 2021, we talked about that here. He caught the wrath of Fred's bigotry. I don't want no Puerto Ricans in this house. Things like this. But what they were really doing is showing how ignorant it was to be a bigot. So we saw that with George. We saw that with Archie Bunker being a bigot, how ignorant it was to be a bigot. And then we saw it carry over to Sanford's son and showing how ignorant it is to be a bigot as well. All right. Okay, so let's continue here. So Zara Cully's last credited performance was an appearance in the 9th episode of the 4th season entitled The Last Leaf. The Last Leaf, which aired November 2nd, 1977. Okay, The Last Leaf, 3 months before her death, November 12th, 1977, which aired 3 months before her death. She was one of the oldest performers active in television at the time. Zara Cully died at the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California on February 28, 1978 from lung cancer. And she was lung cancer. She was age 86. All right. Okay. So, and we know her birthday was January 26th. And once again, she was born in 1892. Let me show you this. I had to check a number of different sources. I said, ain't no way in the hell she was born in 18, but she was. She was born in 1892. Okay. So you have to understand the significance of this, right? Harriet Tubman died in 1913. She was born before Harriet Tubman died. Booker T. Washington dies in 1915. So Zara Cully, who we saw on All in the Family and then on the Jeffersons, she was living when Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, and Booker T. Washington were alive. I wish I could have a conversation with her for like a half hour, because we were talking nothing but we were talking all about history. Because if she was born in 1892, it's quite possible her parents were alive during the Civil War. Her parents may have been former slaves. I need to do some research on this. Her parents may have been former slaves. Okay? But it's quite possible her parents were alive during the Civil War. So her parents could have been telling her about the Civil War. And then she lives through the modern day civil rights movement. She lived through Plessy versus Ferguson, U.S. Supreme Court case 1896, which solidifies separate and unequal. She lives through World War I, 1914 to 1918. She lives through World War II. She lives through Emmett Till being lynched August 28, 1955. She lives through the Montgomery bus boycott, which starts December 5th, 1955. She lives through the Civil Rights Act of 64, Voting Rights Act of 65, Affirmative Action, September 1965, Fair Housing Act 1968, Richard Nixon 1968, Dr. King being assassinated April 4th, 1968, Malcolm X being assassinated February 21st, 1965. She lives through Medgar Evers' assassination. I think it's 1963, Medgar Evers. She lives through all of that. And she's born before Frederick Douglass dies. Okay. So, and then she lives through the civil rights movement, Black Power movement. She lives through all of that. All right, so let's go to this clip here. I was doing some research and found these clips here. So it's from YouTube. Mother Jefferson and Jeffersons. We'll call this Mother Jefferson's greatest hits. Now, she loved her Bloody Marys. That was her drink, the Bloody Marys, right? We remember that. Mother Jefferson and her Bloody Marys. And she always, her antagonist was Louise Jefferson. Okay, so she really didn't get along with Louise. She never thought Louise was good enough for her son, George. So that was one of the running storylines. You would always see this play out. Okay, let's go to this clip. Let's go to these clips here.
I would like you to meet my
Hold
uncle.
on just a second.
Uncle.
Let me back that up.
Oh, Mother Jefferson, I would like you to meet my uncle. Uncle Ward, this is my mother-in-law, Mrs. Jefferson.
How do you do?
Mrs. Jefferson, it's a real pleasure to meet you after all these years. You're much younger and far more attractive than I'd imagined.
Thank you. Good morning, Louise.
Oh, hello, Mother Jefferson. Come in.
Oh, Mama. Oh, I was just passing by.
On the 12th floor?
I hope I didn't interrupt anything.
Oh, no, Mom. Louise is just waiting to interview the new maid.
A maid? You're getting a maid to look after this itty-bitty apartment?
Yes.
Well. All the years I was married, bringing up a family in that great big house, we never had a maid.
What great big house. We had a 3-room walk-up.
He doesn't remember.
No, you mean you don't remember.
Don't talk to your mother like that.
Don't you pick on George. Has enough on his mind trying to think up ways to earn enough money to pay for your maid, which you don't need.
Oh, you see there, George? Even your mother agrees with me.
Well, on the other hand, I can understand you wanting somebody to keep the place neat and clean. For a change.
Oh, hello, Mother Jefferson. Come in.
Louise.
And how are you, Mr. Bentley?
He's wonderful. That's how he is. He took the package right out of my hands and carried it all the way up here for me.
No, it was nothing, really. The elevator did most of the work.
Here you are, Louise. Some fruit for after dinner.
Oh, you didn't have to do that. I've got lots of fruit in the house.
I know, but I like fresh fruit.
About you, Mother Jefferson, would you care for a drink?
Oh, I'll just have some grape juice with a slice of lemon.
Grape juice and a slice of lemon.
And a double shot of vodka.
Oh, morning, Grandma. Morning, Mama. Wow, you look like a debutante in that room.
Thank you, son. You're so thoughtful, insisting that I stay over last night because you knew Louise was going to make me drink another Bloody Mary.
Oh. Why don't you go on in the kitchen and grab yourself some breakfast?
All right, if you want me to, dear.
How'd you sleep last night?
Like a baby.
Good.
Oh, good morning, Mother Jefferson. Did you sleep well?
Not a wink. The mattress was too hard, and you know I'm allergic to duck feather pillows.
But our pillows are foam rubber.
That's a worse kind for my sinus.
Well, can I get you some breakfast?
Well, I'm not hungry. Oh, just some coffee.
Okay.
And some cereal with fruit. And some raisin toast.
How would you like your eggs?
Over easy. Mama.
Oh, good to see you.
Thank you, George. You always make me feel so welcome.
Where's Louise? Didn't she go to the theater with you this afternoon?
Don't talk to me about that woman.
No, Louise is my wife.
That's not my fault.
What you so mad about?
She never showed. I waited outside that theater for 3 hours. My feet are killing me.
You mean you were standing for 3 hours?
Well, no, lucky for me, there was a place to sit down near the theater.
Out on the sidewalk?
No, in a cocktail lounge. I sat there and had to force myself to drink 4 bloody milk before I realized she wasn't going to show.
Well, if Louise wasn't there, it's got to be a good reason for it.
I'm sure there is.
You know, she's probably out shopping and spending money, doing all the things I told her to do. Look, Ma, if you got something to say, why don't you just come on out with it and stop beating around the bush?
George, now, you know me. If I can't say something nice about a person, I don't say anything at all. That's why I seldom talk about Louise.
I know what's coming next. You're going to say she's found another man.
Well, I have been calling every afternoon this week, and she hasn't been home once.
See, there you go again. You always think everybody's out messing around.
Well, if you live among the white folks, some of those days are bound to rub off.
You know how to break zippers and tear off buttons? That's sabotage. No, it ain't. That's business. Well, I'm not going to do it. Oh, you'd rather stab me in the back.
And it probably isn't the first time.
You stay out of this.
I'm only trying to help.
You already did. You helped us get in this big fight.
Now, I don't have to stand here and be insulted.
You are so right. You can go anywhere and be... Mama, what are you doing at this time of night?
I've been worried about Lionel ever since Louise called. Has he come home yet?
No, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
You know, when a boy starts acting disrespectful, that means he wasn't raised right.
Why don't you speak to your son?
I did, but he got married anyway.
George, will you please speak to your mother? Because I'm in no mood.
And I certainly wouldn't be having a party if my George had been missing a whole day.
No, you could find him easy. All you'd have to do is look at the end of your apron.
Now, Lionel, I never hit my son in my life. Your father's daddy hit him.
Amen to that.
Lionel, the way you're acting tonight...
Hey, I don't want to hear about it tonight, all right, Grandma?
I'm about to hit my grandson.
I didn't mean to get you all upset, Grandma.
Mom, Pop, could I get by without a hassle tonight? I was wrong about school and everything. I'm sorry, okay?
That's my boy. He's half mine, too, you know. Hey, Pop.
Well, I'm going to go upstairs and talk to Jenny.
You do that, son. Oh, and Lionel, we really are very proud of you.
Hey, but you know something, Mom? It ain't all that hard to get turned around. Especially when you're getting your brains beat out.
Louise!
So Mother Jefferson hugs Louise. She's happy Lionel came back home. That may have been the first time that she hugged Louise. So
the original Lionel, the Lionel that you heard there, is Mike Evans. Mike Evans was the first Lionel on the Jeffersons. He started on All in the Family. Mike Evans was the co-creator of Good Times. Mike Evans was the co-creator of Good Times. So when you watch Good Times, you see that it in the credits it says created by Eric Monte, Monte, Eric Monte, and Mike Evans. And the character of Michael Evans, the youngest son, is named after Mike Evans, co-creator of Good Times, who was the first Lionel on the Jeffersons. And then when the Jeffersons spin off, when Good Times spins off from All in the Family, because Esther Roll, who played Florida Evans, was the maid of Maude on the TV show Maude, starring B. Arthur. Maude was the cousin of Edith Bunker on All in the Family. So Maude was a spinoff of All in the Family. Esther Roll, Florida Evans, was Maude's maid. Esther Roll gets her show, Good Times, which is a spinoff of Maude, which is a spinoff of All in the Family. And Mike Evans was a co-creator of Good Times, and he was one of the writers on Good Times also. So when Good Times launches, he leaves the Jeffersons to work on the set of Good Times full time. They bring in Damon Evans, no relation to Mike Evans. They bring him in to be the second Lionel. Then when Good Times ends in about 1979 or so, Mike Evans goes back to the Jeffersons to reprise the role of Lionel Jefferson. Okay. That's why there are two Jeffersons. That's why there are two Lionels on the Jeffersons. All right. All right. I study a lot of history. Okay. So, but that was Mike Evans. And he died like 52 years old. He died broke. You know, it was tragic. He died a few years ago. Okay, let's go. We got a little bit more of this clip here of Mother Jefferson's greatest hits.
All right, that's it for JMT Flicks. Now, I know
okay. All right, yeah, so check that out. We posted this clip here. That's from JMT Flicks on YouTube, Mother Jefferson, the Jeffersons. All right, check that out. Okay, so happy birthday once again, Zara Cully, Mother Jefferson on the Jeffersons. She was born January 26th, 1892. Okay, also celebrating birthdays on January 27th. Some birthday acknowledgments, some other ones. Ronaldo Ray, comedian Ronaldo Ray, but also John Witherspoon. John Witherspoon from Detroit. And I mean, he had a storied career, he had a very long career also. We saw him in everything from Boomerang, okay, Bang, 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 and Boomerang, right? I mean, I've seen Boomerang like literally 100 times. Literally 100 times. Boomerang. That's a hell of a movie. And you know, they came out with this new show, Boomerang, to some millennial bullshit. What the hell is this? Come on. Y'all could do better than this. Yeah, that's disrespectful to the Boomerang name. Come out. I want to see Boomerang with Eddie Murphy and Halle Berry with children, married with children. I don't want to see this millennial nonsense they have calling that Boomerang. That's disrespectful. You know, Lena Waithe and Halle Berry came up with this nonsense. Come on. Come out with a Boomerang show with Eddie Murphy and Halle Berry 30 years later, married with children, maybe grandchildren. Okay. And you can have Martin Lawrence and David Allen Greer. Have you remember Roots, the Next Generation? Have Boomerang, the Next Generation, but have the original people in there. Okay. And then their children. This nonsense they got here, man. It's something on a whole another level. But happy birthday to John Witherspoon. And we know John Witherspoon passed away last year. Let's pull this up here. He was on the Weigh-In show. He was on He was in Boomerang. So remembering John Witherspoon on the day of his birth, okay, he was born, he died in 2019, I should say, October 29th, 2019. He was born January 27th, 1942. January 27th, 1942. He was a comedian and actor who has performed in many television shows, best known for his role as Willie Jones for the Friday series. Witherspoon has also starred in films such as Hollywood Shuffle and Boomerang. Hollywood Shuffle and Boomerang. Okay. And let's see here. Hollywood Shuffle and Boomerang. Now, he was also on the Richard Pryor Show. Okay. The Richard Pryor Show that was on NBC for all of like 4 episodes. Okay. All of 4 episodes. I have all 4 episodes on DVD. The Richard Pryor Show. So he was on there with Robin Williams, actor Robin Williams, who went on to star in Mork and Mindy and do movies. Marsha Warfield, comedian Marsha Warfield, African-American comedian Marsha Warfield, who went on to be on Night Court. She was on that show, the Richard Pryor Show. Paul Mooney was on that show as well. And Marsha Warfield, she was so small back then, you wouldn't even recognize her. Okay? Because at first I didn't realize it was Marsha Warfield. You know, I had to listen to her voice. So he was also on the Wayans Brothers TV show as Pops, their father. Okay. Okay, Pops. So he was on the Wayans Brothers show, and he was in another movie with Eddie Murphy as well. Which one was that? Was it? It wasn't one of the Nutty Professor movies. It was another movie. Let's see here, I forgot which one it was. It was a newer movie he was in with Eddie Murphy. I forgot which one. Let me see. Let me pull up his. I need to go to IMDb and look at his credits. Okay, I'll find it. I don't remember him in Harlem. Was he in Harlem Nights? Harlem Nights is not the movie I was thinking of. It was it's a more recent movie. He was in it for one scene, and he was playing a blind man. Okay, he has 83 credits. What? They're not showing it here. Not what I'm looking for. He was on the Black Jesus TV show also. I'm not sure which one that was. I saw an interview where he was talking about it and filming the scene with Eddie Murphy. I have to figure that out. So it was not Boomerang, but anyway, I'll figure it out. So he had some memorable lines, especially from Boomerang. He has some memorable lines. So I'll see if I can find some. 1,000. I think it was 1,000 words. I think that was it. I think that was the movie, 1,000 Words. It was one I didn't see. I know that. There was a new Eddie Murphy movie. Okay, yes, a blind man. Yeah, 1,000 Words. That's it. Thanks. Yeah, 1,000 Words. Okay, he was in that movie also. I remember in Boomerang. So I saw Boomerang. I saw Boomerang at the drive-in theater. That Boomerang came out in was it 1992 or 90? Which one was it? But I saw Boomerang when it came out. Okay. 92, yeah. Boomerang came out the same year as Malcolm X. So I saw Boomerang at the drive-in. Okay. I saw it twice. I think once at the drive-in and then once at the theater. Let me see if we can pull up some clips of John Witherspoon. Okay, because he's Marcus. So he got the joke about being whipped. He said, Marcus, I hear a girl at the office got you whipped. I said, I want to try to find some PG stuff from John Witherspoon. I want to try to find some PG stuff from John Witherspoon. But there's some classic. Okay, they got some classic stuff here. That's then he's in the bathroom with he's in the bathroom with David Allen Greer's mother having sex over at Eddie Murphy's house. Let's see here. Okay, then he was also on the show Boondocks as well. He was a voice on the Boondocks. This is from Boomerang.
Thank you. What are you?
My parents are here.
You look just like your dad.
Thanks. Oh, Gerard, Mother Angela, Gerard, Mother, bro, that's my whole trunk of chitlins. Oh, yo, I want to go. This is the girl you've been talking about? Agatha?
Angela Lewis.
Oh, I want to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Isn't she pretty? She looked like one of Marcus' girls. Hey, Agatha, why don't you go in the kitchen and help Miss Jackson with these chitlins? Go in the kitchen. You do that. All right. Talk to me.
You got to coordinate. Okay, so one of John Witherspoon's most famous lines of all time is "You got to coordinate." Okay, I think he had a T-shirt because he used to sell T-shirts with his sayings on it. Bang, bang, bang. You got to coordinate, things like that, right?
Now, where'd you get the mushroom shirt? I'm trying to impress you, you know that. I know it. Now, where'd you get the mushroom shirt? I got to know. Well, the secret is you got to coordinate. Most people don't coordinate. You got to coordinate. Yes, that's what you do. Yeah.
Interesting.
See, I told you they don't stink when you pull the membrane out. Well, when you saw me, you saw the mushroom shirt. Mushroom shirt. Bang, mushroom shirt. But see, you can't stop with the mushroom shirt. I would stop with the shirt. No, you got to keep going. Okay, now let me show you something. Look at that. Oh, you got it. Gerard, did you know your pops had a mushroom belt on? Yes. But you don't stop there, see? You got to keep going. You got a mushroom ring? Yes, good idea. Look what I got. Gerard, did you know on the inside was special mushroom? Yes! Simply delicious, Marcus. I keep telling you, Ron, she should take some cooking lessons from you. All you do is put pork I bet he's eating everything on the pig, from the rooter to the tooth.
The whole pig.
He didn't marry me for my cooking. Got that right, baby. That's why we got little Junior over there. Bang, 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 bang. Must you embarrass me in front of my friends on every possible occasion? See that? That's your son. Private school got him off to daddy like that.
Yeah, man, chill. It's your father, Mr. Jackson. Angela made this meal. It wasn't me. I can't take credit for it. It was Angela.
Oh, very good, Harry. But did you, Daddy? I told you that Angela and I are just friends. Mm-hmm. Just friends, huh? Yes. Just friends.
Leave it alone, honey. They've played that 500 times. Just let it go.
Fine. You change the subject. Now, Marcus, I hear girls off because you pussy with me. Why don't you first it? Don't you pussy with that pussy? Look. Bang, 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 bang.
Really insist on staying around until the long face.
My parents spent in there for damn near an hour, man. So what? They've been in there hitting it. I just wanted to join my back. No, they've been in there for a minute. Goodness, what's for dessert?
All right. So, okay. So now John Witherspoon was also on an episode of Good Times. Okay. So there was an episode where Walona Woods, she was dating a man who was spying on her for Penny's birth mother. Okay. Played by Chip Fields. And Chip Fields was the real life mother of Kim Fields. Okay. Kim Fields, Tootie from Facts of Life. Now, in Boomerang, the mother of Gerard's character and the wife of John Witherspoon, she was also on an episode of Good Times as well. Okay. And her name is BB. I think is it BB? Let me pull this up here. Let me look at the credits. I posted about her, BB Drake. BB Drake. Okay. So BB Drake was on Good Times as well. And she was on an episode where the little Larry, played by Derek Wales, it was an episode from 1974, it appears. And Larry was a child on a bus that Florida Evans drove, and he had a hearing problem. Okay. And it was a 2-part series. So let's pull this up here. That's not what I want. Where'd I pull it up? Oh, it's over here, IMDb. So both John Witherspoon and BB Drake were on an episode of Good Times. John Witherspoon played a police officer when they came in the raid of Walona Woods' apartment. John Witherspoon was one of the police officers, so we showed that still picture of him in Walona Woods, Janae Dubois. But this is BB Drake, okay, who was on 2 episodes of Good Times as Little Larry's mother. And then she and John Witherspoon, who were both on Good Times, end up playing husband and wife on in Boomerang. BB Drake was also Lou Meyer's wife, or Mr. Gaines' wife, on the TV show A Different World. That was BB Drake as well. All right. Veteran actress also. Okay. Okay, so and then also on birthday acknowledgments are Ronaldo Ray as well, comedian, actor Ronaldo Ray. And we'll talk some about him tomorrow because we just way over on time. Okay. We just way over on time. All right. Hey, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network. $ the AHN Show through Cash App. $ the AHN Show through Cash App, and then also through PayPal. PayPal.me/the AHN Show. That helps us to keep doing the research. Yeah. I talked about the Richard Pryor Show. Oh yeah, he was on the Richard Pryor Show. Okay. That helps us to keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills, pay for all these services that we use. We're on 6 nights a week for 4 years. I've been doing, this is my 11th year in radio, but for 4 years, we were doing the African History Network show on Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF. We're still on Sundays. As of October 12th, 2020, we're on Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight. So we're on 6 nights a week. So that helps us to finance the show, keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills, etc. All right. All of my DVD lectures are available at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have orders shipping out this week, and digital downloads, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. My online course that's starting up Wednesday, February 3rd, 2020, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We deal with thousands of years of history and what led to the transatlantic slave trade happening. We deal with, I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have video clips, book references, articles. You can watch from around the world, and all the shows are archived. So if you miss anything, you can go back and watch it, okay? As soon as you register, there's bonus content that you can start watching. We just posted the link here, and it's also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. So this is a 8-session, 16-hour course, meets every Wednesday, 8 consecutive Wednesdays from about 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Eastern Standard Time, and it's all online, okay? So you can register for that. It's on sale $80, regularly $130. And we deal with a chronology of history that leads to the transatlantic slave trade happening and better understanding the transatlantic slave trade. We deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors. We deal with ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, and the knowledge that the Moors take into Europe that brings Europe out of the Dark Ages, etc., and understanding how the transatlantic slave trade is really a continuation of the wars going on between the African Moors and Europeans. Okay, we're seeing a continuation of all of that take place with the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, all right. So check that out at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We just posted a link here, but also is at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Okay. How's everybody doing? Okay, the last show I saw John Witherspoon on was playing the father of the president. The guy who played Braxton on Jamie Foxx. Okay. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Also, African-American business owners, email us at customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com will let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace.
Are you getting ready for fall or winter? We have the solution for all seasonal clothing needs. ComedicWear.com is the go-to online source for comedic African fashion and lifestyle products with a contemporary twist. We're committed to offering unique styles reflecting our African heritage. ComedicWear.com is inspired by ComedicScribes.com to influence our people in learning and showing pride. Please visit our website at ComedicWear.com.
Black Bees products are a collection of natural, organic, personal care products with an appreciation of nature and bees. Our philosophy is without bees, we have nothing. We are honoring our Nile Valley ancestors who understood the importance of bees. Black Bees created a high-quality, natural, organic personal care line that would be affordable to everyone. We hope you try and enjoy our Black Bees products line and come back and visit us at blackbeesproducts.com.
Intuitive Design Clothing is an online accessory store that sells one-of-a-kind signature statement pieces for men and women. They also specialize in fashion consultations, closet organization, and decorating small spaces. Are you looking for a statement piece for a special affair, or would you like to add some select pieces to your ensemble of accessories? If you're looking for something different, definitely contact Kathy Norman, owner and CEO of Intuitive Design Clothing. Visit their website, intuitivedesignClothing.com. That's intuitivedesignClothing.com, and you can email her at info@intuitivedesignClothing.com. Intuitive Design Clothing is where every entrance is a grand entrance. Gain knowledge in minutes with Blacklist Ed. Blacklist Ed is an app that provides insightful summaries of books pertaining to the Black experience. As Black people, we know the importance of reading books to discover our incredible contributions to world history, to uplift our self-esteem, and to empower ourselves for our relentless fight for social justice. Unfortunately, with our busy lives, it feels like there is never enough time to read a book. Fortunately, there's a solution. With Blacklist Ed, their app provides key insights from best-selling books about the Black experience, therefore saving you time, increasing your knowledge, and empowering yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. You can read or listen on the go. Start your free trial today by going to blacklisted.com. That's black without the C, B-L-A-K. Or you can download the Blacklist Ed app from the App Store or Google Play. Blacklist Ed, empower yourself. Have you tasted the world famous No Frowny Brownie yet from the Pink Bakery? If not, what are you waiting for? They are vegan, gluten-free, and free of the big 8 allergens. While eating their No Frowny brownies, the fabulous Miss Tabitha Brown said they were very good. Very good. And you know, it says that, they are. The Pink Bakery is the first Black-owned, Big 8 allergen-free baking mix company. Go to thepinkbakery.com, that's thepinkbakery.com, to order their No Frowny Brownie Mix today. Yaya Rule is a line of African print-inspired apparel catered to the Black community. The pieces include t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, jackets, dresses, skirts, activewear, bags, and other accessories and home decor. This brand offers a revived way for men and women to wear their Black pride and honor their African heritage anywhere at any time. This apparel